So you've completed the majority of your undergraduate courses, you took the DAT, you finished your personal statement, and you finally submitted your application. Now you're on to the final step, the interview. What's up everyone, Simran Singh back here with another video, and for those of you that are new to my channel, I make helpful and resourceful videos for those of you that are interested in applying to dental school. And starting this fall, I'm going to be vlogging my dental school experience. So if that type of content interests you, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. In this video today, my close friend Frankie and I are going to go over 4 very common dental school interview questions that you will most likely be asked in your dental school interview. I've also provided more questions for you guys to practice with before your interview. So if you are interested in obtaining those questions, feel free to email me. My email is down below. The questions are completely free. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel and like this video. So yeah, let's get to it. Hey guys, so this video ended up being a lot longer than I anticipated. So I provide you guys with specific times if you guys want to see a specific question or hear us talk about a specific subject. But if not, feel free to watch the whole video and let's get to it. What's up everyone? So today we're going to talk about common dental school interview questions. So I'm with my friend Frankie Brettschneider. We actually attended undergrad together at Michigan State University.
All right, so my name's Frankie. I am starting as a D1. I'm going to the University of Michigan School of Dentistry. And I got invited to 14 interviews. I went to 11 of them and I got accepted to 9 schools. So the different schools that I interviewed at Case Western, Midwestern, Illinois and Arizona, University of Colorado, Oregon Health and Science University, Marquette, Detroit Mercy, University of Pittsburgh, Temple, University of Michigan, and University of Louisville. So a lot of schools, a lot of different interview styles, but it's great. You can see the schools, and that's the perfect time to ask questions.
This guy's crazy. Obviously, for those of you that have taken the DAT and that have applied, you guys know how expensive this whole process is. And that's also consistent with the whole interview process. The dental schools don't pay for your flights or your lodging. So make sure you guys have the money to attend those interviews. And make sure you guys actually limit yourself with the schools because, you know, if you're like Frankie and end up going to 11 interviews, it does end up costing a lot of money. Because for me, I went to 6 and that was a lot of money on its own, but this guy did almost double that. You know, we were very fortunate enough to have our parents cover for them. You know, they're the GOATs. But if you aren't in that same situation, you definitely want to save up money to attend these interviews because they do get pricey because unfortunately the dental schools aren't able to cover any of the costs involved.
So the interview process is probably the most exciting part of the application process because you're getting your foot in the door to these dental schools. And it's just a great time, but you really have to prepare for it. And it can seem nerve-wracking in the beginning, but you'll get there. It takes some time.
I would agree. I would also definitely say it's probably the most easiest part of the process because it's really your time to showcase your personality. Like they already see who you are on paper. They already know what your grades are. They already know what experiences you've had. Now it's really their chance to get to know who you are as a person, and you get an opportunity to showcase that.
So a few types of interview styles that I had mainly came down to 3 different ones. One was the one-on-one. It's a pretty laid-back interview. They just talk to you, one person. It could be a professor, could be the dean, could be a faculty, or even a student. But in this part, it can be split up into 2 ways. It can be an open file or a closed file. Open file, they see your application, personal statement before, so they know a little bit about you, which is nice. That way you don't have to fully immerse yourself, but the closed file is fine as well. They don't know anything about you. You just got to be yourself. You got to just display your personality to them. Second one is going to be the MMI, which is the multiple mini interviews. And these consist of between about 5 to 10 minute interviews, and you talk to kind of the same type of people, student, faculty, whatever.
And adding on with the MMI, it could either be a one-on-one interaction, or they can give you a specific scenario on paper, and this could have anything to do with dental ethics or specific scenarios you might see in practice. Definitely expect that in a multiple mini interview as well, on top of the one-on-one interviews. The third type of interview format that Frankie and I didn't go over is the group interview. And this is actually a newer type of interview, and essentially it's one interviewer interviewing 3 to 4 different people. You could do anything from team building exercise to evaluating specific scenarios to being asked general questions. What they want to get out of the group interview is to see how you work with other people and kind of assess those types of skills. So definitely be prepared for that type of interview. A little disclaimer though, before we go into it, Frankie and I aren't professionals. This is just solely based off of our experiences and what we've heard from admission committee members. So this is just our take on the whole interview process and how you may want to answer the questions. Obviously, again, there's no definite way of answering it, but really the interview is just there to showcase your personality, because you could have high grades, a high DHC, but at the end of the day, you're going to be treating patients and you need to interact with them. So that's what the interview is there for. So Frankie and I are going to go over some very common interview questions, and we're kind of just going to do some interview scenarios for you. With these scenarios, we're going to show you what not to do to kind of keep it funny and kind of just analyze the questions after and kind of give you our advice on how we would answer the questions. So with these interview scenarios, Frankie's going to be the interviewer, and I'm going to be the worst possible interviewee there is, just to keep it funny or cringy. It's all up to y'all to decide. But yeah, after the interview scenarios, Frankie and I are going to analyze each question and give you guys our insight on how we feel you guys should answer the question. So here's scene number 1, the first impression.
All right, Simran, come on in.
First of all, you're going to a dental school interview, not the club, so make sure you're wearing business professional attire. Otherwise, you and your app will probably not be viewed again at that school. Check out the link in the description box to see some examples of business professional attire.
Hey Simran, nice to meet you.
What's good? Alright, so you're introducing yourself to a student, faculty member, or the dean of that specific dental school, not one of your homies. So make sure you're not dapping them up when you introduce yourself to them. Make sure you give them a firm handshake and maintain eye contact. That'll make a good first impression. Alright, so in the next part of the video, Frankie and I are going to do the scenarios for each interview question that we go over and then analyze them afterwards.
Okay.
So the first question that you're most likely going to be asked at your dental school interview is why dentistry? And here's how you don't answer the question.
Why do you want to be a dentist?
So like, my friend's dad is a dentist, and he's banking off that stuff, know what I'm saying? He's so rich. Like, this dude owns like 5 practices, he's driving in a Lambo, he's making that 7-figure salary, so like, I'm trying to do that too.
All dentists don't make 7 figures. Is there anything else about dentistry that you like that's not money?
I mean, like, teeth are cool and all, but I'm trying to get that bag, know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely don't do that. In the next clip, Frank and I give you guys advice on how we feel you should answer that question. When it comes to this question, you just have to be genuine as to why you're going into the profession and what experiences you might have that really swayed you to go into that direction.
Asking why dentistry, they basically want to hear more details to your personal statement. Your personal statement is a reflection of your passion for dentistry, and they want to hear more details about it. They want to hear it face to face on why you want to do dentistry. So read over your personal statement and think about what you want to say before you go into that interview.
And another thing with why dentistry is be very cautious to say that you just want to help people, because you can help people in any healthcare profession. So it's super important to talk about the aspects of dentistry, because if you've received an interview at this point, you've probably shadowed for hundreds of hours, maybe you've been assisted, maybe you've been to clubs, listened to dentists talk. So at this point, you need to say what aspects of dentistry really interested you. But obviously, you don't have to talk about it too in detail, because at the same time, you're still an undergraduate student and you're not in dental school yet. So they're not expecting you to know procedures. They're not expecting you to know how to do dentistry. They just want to know what exactly about dentistry interests you to go into the profession. The next question you'll most likely be asked is, tell me about yourself. And here's how you shouldn't answer that question.
So Simran, tell me about yourself.
So like, the moment I came out of the womb, like, I just wanted to be a dentist. Like, my first word was tooth. My first toy was a tooth. Every corner I turned, I just saw like, yo, Simran, you're destined to be a dentist. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, so I know you want to be a dentist, but could you like tell me a bit about yourself other than dentistry?
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, like, I got a lot of friends, like, they really look up to me, like, I'm like an idol to those guys. I really like to get lit, that's why I went to Michigan State University, you know what I'm saying, biggest party school in the nation, you know what I'm saying, represent. But yeah, like, other than getting lit and, like, being super cool, I love dentistry.
Okay, next question.
Hopefully none of you guys answer it like that. Frankie and I give you some insight on how to answer that question in the next scene. The next common question that many dental schools ask is, tell me about yourself. Now this question might be super easy, but for Frankie and I, it might have been one of the hardest questions to kind of think of a response. Because when you're asked this question, you're not really sure what information you want to give to them. This question, in my opinion, is one where you don't talk about dentistry and you literally just tell them about yourself. I think this is an opportunity for your interviewer to know about your life, about what hobbies you may have, you know, and just who you are as a person. So try not to talk about dentistry with this type of question. And I know Frankie and I, at all of our interviews, when we were asked this question, we never brought up dentistry. Literally just tell them about yourself, kind of just showcase your personality and just have a conversation with them. I know one time when I was asked this question in one of my interviews, we literally just talked about sports for 15 minutes because I'm a huge sports fan. I'm always watching, you know, NBA highlights and different shows that cover the NBA, and we literally just talk about basketball. So it's really just an opportunity for you to showcase your personality and literally just talk about who you are as a person. Because at this point, they've read about your experiences, they've read your personal statement, they have a good idea of why you're pursuing dentistry, but they just want to get to know who you are.
Like Simran said, do not talk about dentistry when they say tell me about yourself. They want to see what kind of person you are. They want to see your interests, your hobbies, if you like sports, if you like what kind of music you like, just really anything that can just describe yourself more and they can get like a good feel for you. It's kind of like making a first impression. You want to detail the parts of your life that you are proud of and you want to display to them. Don't say anything that can be taken the wrong way. Just say genuinely who you are.
The next question you'll most likely be asked is, why did you apply and interview at this particular school? Here's how you shouldn't answer that question.
So Simran, why do you want to come to this school?
So like, the off chance that I like don't get into my state school, this school is like a backup. But I mean, if I do get in, you guys are in a big city. Like the bars are popping here. I can go there every night after school.
And you know, like the workload of dental school is pretty tough, right?
Yeah, it's tough, but you know, work hard, party harder. There's a good chance Frankie threw out my app the moment I left that room. Frankie and I give you some insight on how to answer that question in the next scene.
So the next question you'll probably be asked is, why did you choose this school to interview at? And that takes a little bit of research beforehand. First of all, before even applying, you want to have a definitive reason on why you want to go to that school. So some of the reasons that you might choose a school could be like location, could be clinical experience, could be the programs that they offer or specialties that they have as well. And kind of saying a mix of those is a good answer to that question.
Yeah, so when it comes to answering this question, just adding on to what Frankie's saying, a lot of schools have a lot of unique programs that their students get to go through. For example, some schools may be more involved in clinical work in underserved communities. So for me, I know that was super important to me. I really wanted to go to a school that emphasized that, and a lot of schools do offer that. You know, some schools graduate students that are more likely to specialize. If you're already interested in pursuing a specific specialty, a lot of schools give you a better opportunity to specialize. And sometimes it's just the city. Like Frankie and I are both from Michigan, and we're both attending schools that are close to home. So for me, like, we both wanted to attend a school where we felt more comfortable being at home, and we wanted to be in an environment to succeed. When you say that to the interviewer, that's like super important to them because they're well aware that people from other states probably prefer their state school. So when it comes to interviewing at other schools, you really want to talk about why you want to go to that specific school, because you're not only just committing to the school, you're also committing to the city and the state that you're living in. It's just super important to know information about the school because they really want to see why you are interested in their school. You know, and this could be with what programs they have, this could be with their clinical experience. It could also be with the city that they live in. You go on the school's websites, you know, if you can visit the school, you visit the school and just learn about the school. The last most common question that Frankie and I are going to go over is name 3 strengths and 1 weakness. And here's what you shouldn't do when you're asked that question.
Okay, Simran, can you give me 3 strengths and 1 weakness about yourself?
Damn, only 3 strengths? Well, let me see. I mean, I got a really strong chest. My back's pretty strong. I got pretty big biceps. So I guess those are like my strongest assets. My weaknesses. I mean, I only hit leg day like once a month, but like I still have pretty strong legs. So I don't know if that's a weakness. I really don't have any weaknesses.
No, I'm not talking about your workout routine. I'm talking about like your personality. Like any strengths and weaknesses that you have there?
Oh, my bad, bro. I'm a fun guy. I'm pretty funny. I got supreme confidence. Everything you need a dentist to be. In terms of my like weaknesses, like I don't have that many weaknesses, but I guess I'm like super lazy. I don't really like to study. I like to skip class a lot, you know what I'm saying? You know, just the usual weaknesses. In all honesty, if you answer the question like that, you probably didn't get an interview in the first place. Frankie and I go over this question in the next clip. All right, so another common dental school interview question is name 3 strengths and 1 weakness. And this is probably one of the harder questions that you may be asked at an interview because you don't want to sound arrogant or cocky when you're listing off your strengths. And at the same time with your weakness, you don't want to say a weakness that doesn't seem fixable, if that makes sense. So when it comes to stating your strengths, just make sure you're backing it up with specific experiences you may have. Like for example, if you say you work well with others to complete a specific goal or a task, you want to provide an example for that. Just make sure you don't sound arrogant or cocky with your strengths because honestly, they just want you to be honest and just provide evidence for your strengths. So just be genuine. If you don't back it up well, then the interviewer is going to see right through you and think you're lying.
So types of weaknesses that are good are the ones that, like Simran said, are fixable, that are not going to be bad for the school. So bad weaknesses are I'm not honest, I'm lazy, I have a terrible work ethic, I just try to do the easiest thing possible and get out of work. Those things, they don't want a student who is any of those things. So you want to say something along the lines of, you know, like I might get impatient from time to time. That is a good one because you can work on it, you can fix it. It's not going to be that bad for an interviewer to hear.
Yeah, and when it comes to this type of question, like obviously when they're interviewing, they know that all the students aren't perfect. So honestly, just be honest with your weaknesses and kind of talk about what you're doing to fix your specific weakness. Because if you're saying that you're working on it, they want to know what you're exactly doing. Because I was asked that specifically when it came to my weakness. So just make sure you have an answer prepared for that as well. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. I remember when I was preparing for my interviews last year, I felt like there wasn't enough content on YouTube to prepare you for these questions. So, you know, I had people like Frankie and other friends that I went over interview questions with. So definitely do that. I would definitely say do mock interviews and kind of get yourself comfortable in the environment because again, it is just an opportunity to just showcase your personality and just show them who you are. Like I know it sounds super stressful and you might think that they're trying to like get some answer out of you during your interviews, but trust me, it's not like that. Like Frankie and I have been to interviews where they've literally sat us down and they're like, you know, just stay calm, like this is gonna be super chill. It's definitely the most fun and the easiest part of the whole process. At this point, you've gotten all the difficult parts done. So yeah, try to do your best just not to stress out and just be yourself.
Some final advice that I can give before going to your interview, you need to know about the school, you need to know about dentistry and your passion for dentistry, and third, you need to know about yourself. All 3 of those things come in handy, so just get to know each one of those, and that's the best way to prepare.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, like at this point, they already know your grades, they already know your DAT scores, they already know about your experiences, they've read your personal statement, they just want to get to know who you are. So, you know, they already like you on paper, so they just want to see how you are as a person, and, you know, just have fun with it, honestly. Interviewing at schools is a great opportunity for you to see different cities, meet new people, and again, see great programs. So don't stress, like you've already made it this far, you're gonna do amazing. Honestly, like it's the most fun and best part of the whole process. All right, everyone, that concludes the video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Frankie and I did apply last application cycle, and we really felt like there wasn't enough information on YouTube. Again, I'm gonna post a part 2 to this video sometime within the next week, discussing what to expect at your interviews and how to prepare to make a good first impression. So if you guys are interested in that, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, I really hope you guys found it helpful, and have a great day.
Oh, okay, Simran, I guess this concludes our interview. Do you have any questions for me or any questions about the school?
Yeah, so like, is my acceptance letter gonna come in the mail, or y'all gonna email that to me?